Ugh. This was me yesterday, swearing, irritated, stressed out, a little angry, hurting my relationship with God just because I did not take a precaution before the day to actually get myself grounded in either the Word or going to Mass. And this is why I need weekday Mass. Get out! Going to weekday Mass.
Good morning, guys.
Can't do that at a Protestant church. Uh-oh. Coming in with the jabs.
Put me on and wear me throughout the day.
Yo, so my wife hears me and she says, hey, my entry for today is literally what you just described. May 27th, entry for today is seek my face at the beginning of your day. This practice enables you to put me on and wear me throughout the day. Most people put on clothes soon after arising from bed. Similarly, the sooner you put me on by communicating with me, the better prepared you are for whatever comes your way. To wear me is essentially to have my mind, to think my thoughts. Ask the Holy Spirit to control your thinking. Be transformed by this renewal within you. Thus, you are well equipped to face whatever people and situations I bring your way. Clothing your mind in me is your best preparation for each day. This discipline brings joy and peace to you and those around you. Yesterday, I was not bringing joy and peace to those around me. And I personally was stressed and my head was hurting. So we had to take some... So, why do I feel so much better today? I got myself over to morning Mass at 8:30 a.m. before I started doing anything that I needed to do for the day. I started my day with the Lord. And look, when I was a Protestant, I did not have that opportunity just to walk into church, celebrate the Mass, revere the Lord, and bow myself before Him. Honestly, the difference between yesterday morning and this morning, the Holy Spirit that I feel and experience in my heart right now, just because I started my day with that, reminded me that the Lord is most important. And in all we do, all of our works must be dedicated to Him. We should not try and bypass that and go straight to our work, straight to whatever we have planned for the day. We need to let the Lord's plan ruminate in our heart and our mind, and that be the forefront of our focus. And yesterday, that just wasn't the case. I was stressed out all morning. I was trying to figure things out. Honestly, I just was going through it, right? And when we don't do that due diligence to bring ourselves to the Lord first thing, it starts to affect other people around us. And look, I'm not perfect. I was swearing, I was getting angry at my computer, but it made me realize, wait, the Lord is the most important. As soon as I sat down in the Mass today, the Mass is in the reverence of St. Augustine of Canterbury. And the priest is talking about it and talking about England. And which is so funny because we just decided to show up to that Mass and he's talking about English history and I am English. So first of all, that was just this one connection that made me realize, I'm in the right place right now. Of course, I'm in the house of the Lord. And then he's just talking about St. Augustine, how he baptized thousands of people and, asking us to pray for our Anglican brothers and sisters. The history of the Church of England is not a good one, right? Just receiving that information at the start of the day and just bowing in the pews, I realized, wait, I said to my wife last night before we even went that we should do this every morning before I start work. Because yesterday morning was just too stressful for me. And I knew it was stressful because I hadn't grounded myself before the start of the day. So my wife is like, let's do it. It's in walking distance. It's just get to Mass every morning, start a day with that, and let the peace of God set the tone for the rest of the day. You know, what is meant for me will not miss me, and you cannot lose anything by being real. And you know, sometimes I may try and rush into opportunities. I got to be honest, like yesterday was stressful because I'm struggling with my perception, or I'm struggling with my perception or perspective on myself, maybe being too hard on myself, of how I'm providing for my family, right? And these are honest prayers and wrestles with God that I have. I am by no means rich. I don't know if you didn't watch my testimony video, you probably don't understand the context of my story, but I was in $60,000 worth of debt, and I had to get that all written off. And basically it's like filing bankruptcy, but it was a debt relief order, so it's a different type of bankruptcy. So then I had to prove I had no income for 12 months. On top of all this, you know, I have 2 children now, a baby that's 4.5 months, and my daughter that's 2. And I'm in the process of immigration to Canada, waiting for my permanent residency, so I can't even work. So there's just so many financial hurdles. Even this YouTube channel, I'm able to monetize it, but I'm not allowed to monetize it because I don't have my residency yet. And with the way that works with Google AdSense is a whole process. So I'm not even making, it's not about the money though, but my sincere wrestles with God is like, I'm trying to hunt after opportunities where I can sort of find loopholes where I can make money remotely. And sometimes that's difficult. And you know, it's worked out for me in some regards. But because I didn't start my day with the Lord, the way I was just thinking about that, or perceiving it rather, or just going after it, was just full of stress and chaotic emotions instead of faith, right? And this, I think many of us can relate to this, right? Like the ways of this world and trying to live in this world sometimes is difficult, and it knocks our faith. And when it knocks our faith, it just takes one slip up to move into another slip up for us to just be on a downward spiral. But what the Lord brings us to is it's obviously an upward spiral, right? Of positivity and faith and grace and clarity and guidance of the Holy Spirit. And when we do not start a day with that, we might end up making moves that in the future, those moves that we've made out of those chaotic emotions becomes something that we have to pluck out. You know, it becomes like a weed that we have to pluck out. Like, oh, I did that day. Now I have to, you know, pay the consequences of my actions because I was doing something that I out of, you know, me not being faithful enough to God's plan for me. Most people are taking way too much time trying to edit on Premiere Pro. Honestly, I'm here to solve that for you, because if you're just new learning the software, or you've been using it for a long time and you're just sick of trying to animate things yourself or just trying to create cool videos, but it's taking you too much time, I've got a solution for you. And look, it's really quick, it's really simple, and it's really easy. It's a plugin. Now, obviously, Premiere Pro is so good for plugins, and there is one plugin that I started using and I cannot edit without it now. It's called Effects Flow. Now, Effects Flow plugs into your dashboard, your Premiere Pro editing dashboard, and it gives you hundreds of assets, especially these clean animated text animations for your hooks, for your reels, for your videos, anything that you want to use it for. You just drag and drop it onto your timeline and boom, there you go. It's so simple to use. You got number counters, you got all these sound effects. And look, when I used to edit, I used to go over to websites to find sound effects, or it'd have like even sound effects on my Windows File Explorer, and I'd have to search through them. I don't do any of that anymore. It's just plugged into Premiere Pro and I just drag and drop it. This is 2026 now. You don't have to do things the slow way anymore. If this is something that you're interested in, the link is in the description. I'm going to be honest with you. Yes, there's a cost, there's an upfront cost, but it's not expensive at all. And it's a one-time payment. And check this. What's so awesome about that is the developer is constantly adding new things for free. Yes, for free, adding new assets, new animations, new motion backgrounds, new text animations for free. You'll just get an email saying there's a new update, download the new pack, and then you drag and drop it into your effects flow plugin, and then boom, you got new assets. This developer is so on fire for creating new animations for us to use to fully customize our brand with them, that it's just a no-brainer, just a small investment to have this. Trust me, it is completely worth it. So if this is something that you're interested in, please head over to the link in the description. I personally, I think that I try to rush things sometimes. I see my family and I see the role that God has given to me as a man to provide for my family. And I see that we're still living, in my father-in-law's basement. And I see that we have 2 children and that we're eventually going to need to move. But then I see the prices of rent and all that stuff. And then I see the blockages of my financial situation. And I try to force an outcome. And of course, when we try to force something, it does not move the way that we intend it to. But today, the power of the Mass was that you cannot force. See, when you are sitting in the presence of God, and you're either receiving the Eucharist or receiving a blessing. My wife is receiving Eucharist, I receive blessing. Just for that hour, it's like a meditation, a prayer, a petition to God to confess as well that you're a sinner. And it kind of changes the whole framework of your mind and how you're perceiving things. And once you've changed that framework, once you go into the day with that, it's completely different. And what I said earlier, like the Protestants don't have that. Like a morning mass or ritual, I don't like the word ritual, but rituals in themselves aren't bad. They create order. And the order to the Mass, to have it every morning, early in the morning, before you start your day, our God is a God of divine order. That's not for no reason. It's for the perfect reason that if you start your day with the Lord, everything else will follow. Little note too, I wanted to get my Bible out. Before I went to a morning Mass today, I was reading the Bible last night, sort of grounding myself from such a stressful day. And I just went back to, John 6, talking about the bread of heaven. And I just made the profound connection. And I know that other people made this connection, so it's the first time I was making it. But, the bread from heaven comes right after feeding the 5,000. And the disciples that come looking for Jesus after they've already been fed of the 5,000, Jesus says to them, the disciples ask, where he was. Rabbi, when did you come here? And Jesus answers them, very truly, I tell you, you are looking for me, not because you saw signs, like making the food, but because you ate your fill of the loaves. Now, obviously, this is so much more impactful when we understand what we know about what he continues to say about eating his flesh and his blood, which is the Eucharist. He is literally saying that the bread from the feeding of the 5,000, that bread, he's saying to the disciples, you had your fill of the loaves. But I'm pretty sure these are also the same disciples that left him when he kept doubling, tripling, quadrupling down that the bread is his flesh. And they left. So he's saying, you are looking for me because you ate your fill of the loaves, which is the life. And then they ask him for a sign. What must we do to perform the works of God? And Jesus answered them, this is the work of God, that you believe in him whom he has sent, the Father, right? So then they said to him, what sign are you going to give us then, so that we may see it and believe you? What work are you performing? Our ancestors ate the manna in the wilderness. As it is written, he gave them bread from heaven to eat. Then Jesus said to them, very truly I tell you, it was not Moses who gave you the bread from heaven, but it is my Father who gives you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is that which comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. And then they said to him, give us this bread always. He's already fed them that bread in the feeding of the 5,000. Jesus said to them, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never be hungry, and whoever believes in me will never be thirsty. Whoever is, heavy burdened, come to Jesus and he'll give you rest. And this is what is so important about the Eucharist and the Mass. This is why, if we can, obviously we celebrate the Lord's Day Mass on the weekend, but if we can go to Mass in the weekday, it's going to completely change the trajectory of the rest of our day. And, reading that last night and then going to Mass this morning to sort of more just put it right here in this frontal lobe. Like, come on, if you have a freedom to go to Mass in the morning, not everybody has that freedom to go Mass on weekday morning. Utilize that freedom. Do not say no. So, yeah. I wanted to put this out. Quick video today. Please pray for me. Please pray for my family. And I'm so grateful. Over a month ago, more than maybe 2 months ago now, I'm trying to figure out the time frame, I was still a Protestant. And my faith was not as strong, you guys. It just wasn't. I didn't have as much of a strong faith when I was a Protestant. And I'm just so grateful that I made the choice to embark on this Catholicism journey and what it's led for my life. And I just know it's going to continue. With every Mass, it's going to get stronger. And now that we're deciding to do that weekday Mass, I need it. I need that weekday Mass. God's going to move. So if you like this video today, please like, comment, and subscribe. You're really helping the channel grow. It's already grown so much in the last 2 months, and I'm so grateful for all of you. God bless you all today, and ciao for now.